I don't like that nigga Rami. He be reading that Quran too much. Mm-hmm. Had to drop a dime on this nigga. I'm just fucking around. I'm just messing around with y'all. What's happening? What's happening? Alright. Enough of the jokes. Peace. I'm Rami Salam El. I thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. A little recap. Last time, or another couple videos ago, I did a video called Black Women Need to Be Submissive and Obedient. And I'm not gonna lie, when I did the video, even though I felt the information was needed and there's a lot of wisdom that can be used that are so-called black women, Moorish women, I feel really could benefit from. I was a little worried that the title would just turn a bunch of people off and people would immediately just, judge it one way without even really hearing it. But I was mistaken. There was a lot of feedback that I got in the comments and, behind the scenes, or like private messages rather, that really helped me see things from a different perspective. So I wanted to share a couple of things with you. A lot of women, they brought up or mentioned, hesitancy, like being a little hesitant about the idea of submitting to a man or being obedient to a man because they didn't want to feel like an animal or, like some sort of thing that just has to follow orders. And I understand that. And I don't think that's what the Quran was saying or suggesting for women to be. Nor is I trying to suggest that, just to be clear. That I feel that all of this, well, let me not get too tight. Another thing that was brought up and that I thought was really important was domestic violence and the idea of it being hard for some women to be submissive or obedient because in prior relationships, there was domestic physical abuse, verbal abuse, and women communicating that or expressing that, that's something that us as men have to consider, especially in this climate. That the idea of saying to a woman that's been in a domestic violence situation that they need to be submissive or obedient, I understand how that's difficult to even hear and accept that that's something that you need to do, because you may have had to do everything you could to not do that to get out of the last relationship. So I understand the difficulty in that, and I don't think that this is saying that you need to be submissive or obedient to anyone that's abusing you or that's violent towards you. Just to make that clear again. And this was kind of the most profound one. It was, and this piece to the sister, it was a sister that explained, that what she got from it is that, for women to understand that submission and obedience isn't a command or some sort of requirement that you have to, like a prerequisite almost, that you have to have in order for, like as a woman, that you need to be submissive and obedient for a man to even consider you to be a wife. It doesn't work like that, but more so that it's a gift and that, you should want to give it. You should want to give your submission, and you should want to be submissive, and you should want to give some of the authority to your man if you feel your man has deserved it or has earned your submission, because it's a gift. And that, when she explained it that way, it really shifted the power dynamic of, it just being like, Yeah, I'm the man, you know what I mean? And my girl, she submit, you know what I mean? She obey. And it's more so, um, it changes the mentality to say, you know, I have, as a man, I have to prove my honor and respect, and I have to prove myself worthy enough to receive the gift. And I guess the way I thought about it was that you don't really have the mentality that you shouldn't expect gifts. You shouldn't just feel obligated that you just are going to receive gifts. Gifts are something that you are given because people, you know, really love you or care about you, and want to make you happy and feel you've earned the gift. You know what I mean? Especially as a parent, my parents out there, they know, you know what I mean? You don't give your children gifts if they ain't earned it. You know what I mean? You may take some of them gifts back, you feel me? Um, but that mentality really shifted things for me. And I thought that was profound, and I think that that's something that we have to keep in mind. Um, that being said, now let's get to black men, quote unquote black men. Really, when I say black men or black women, I'm really saying Moorish women, so-called black men, so-called African American men, so-called Negroes, so-called people of color, colored men, men of color. Now let's get to this idea that men, you know, we need to be obedient and submissive. Whoa, what you talking about, Rami? I ain't feeling this, Rami. I was on board when you was talking about that with women, but now that you didn't switch sides on what you trying to be a feminist, Rami. Look at this Rami. He trying to take it easy. I'm just going off of this now. So we're gonna crack it open. We're gonna see what it say. First of all, you know what I mean, how I noticed, what did I say last time? Oh, how I was saying how submission and obedience is listed as the lessons of her life, is the lessons of a woman's life, meaning that that's something that they need lifelong lessons for. Okay. But I also noticed in this Quran, there's a chapter called Duty of a Husband, but there's no chapter called Duty of a Wife. Now, why is that? Maybe it's something we gotta really think on it. We ain't been on our game like we supposed to, and so they making it very clear. Hey, check it out. You got a whole chapter dedicated to y'all in order to get right. You feel me? That's one thing I noticed. And I'm gonna get back to that chapter, but the chapter before is chapter 21, the marriage instructions for man and wife. And that's another thing. I'm not trying to go too long on this video, but at the end, I'm going to speak about. Actually, no, I just do it in a different video. Anyways, let's continue. One line is line 16. It's talking about the wife. She presideth in the house, and there is peace. She commandeth with judgment and is obeyed. She presideth in the house. She presides. You know what I mean? Like the judge is presiding over this court. That's the authority, the authority. You feel me? And when she presides over the house, there's peace. And when she commands with judgment and is obeyed. She the one sending out the commands and is obeyed by the people in the house. And that includes the husband. Yes. That includes us men. Yes. The next line, she ariseth in the morning, considers her affairs, and appointeth to everyone their proper business. She's the one calling the shots. This is what you need to do. Son, what you need to do. Daughter, what you need to do. Husband, what you need to do. Let's get to it. Ready? Break. She's quarterbacking. The care of her family is her whole delight. Here's the last one I wanted to bring out. She speaketh, and the servants fly. She pointeth, and the thing is done. That's kind of clear. Things get done. That means that we need to listen. Man, you hear me? Are you listening? Okay, just making sure. I'm going to skip over. I'm going to skip over to chapter 22, Duty of a Husband. And just so you know, just before I pass on, go to the duty of a husband, on the last line of that previous chapter, happy is the man that has made her his wife. So don't get it twisted. Oh, well, the man's supposed to. Well, this is saying happy is the man that made this kind of woman his wife. The one that can quarterback the situation in the house. And duty of a husband. This line I wanted to read. Line 5. Cherish her. Well, line 4 gives qualities that you should look for in a woman before you make her your wife. But then after that, line 5, it says, cherish her as a blessing sent to thee from heaven. Cherish her as a blessing now. That from heaven. That's a gift for you. You feel me? We remember going back to the whole idea about a gift and the obedience and the submission and that, you know, all of that being a gift. You know, the idea of your wife or your woman, your love, that's a gift from heaven. So you got to cherish that. The next line, she is the mistress of thy house, therefore treat her with respect, that thy servants may obey her. Now, I really want you to go look this up for yourself. Don't just take this little image that you see on the screen. But I want you to look for yourself and see what the definition of mistress is. See, so that you know it's not, you know, it's not, I ain't talking about the side piece. That's not what this is. This is not saying that. This is saying the mistress is the female head authority of the house, the head figure. That's what mistress means. She is the mistress of thy house, therefore treat her with respect. This is talking to the duty of a husband. Come on now. She's the female running the house. Gotta treat her with respect so that others will obey her. We gotta set the tone. We gotta set the example. Men, submissive, obedient, so that others, come on now. What was the last one that I wanted to read? Oh, I think that was it. She's 6. Yeah, I mean, right after that, oppose not her inclination without cause. She is the partner of thy cares. Also, make her also the companion of thy pleasures. Reprove her faults with gentleness. Be faithful to her. And now let me just put this one on the record. Be faithful to her bed. She is the mother of thy children. Be faithful. Come on now. Come on now. That one, you know, that's not necessarily talking about men necessarily being obedient and submissive, but it's something we definitely need to get with. You feel me? So I hope that you, and this is just, and once again, me reading this isn't to try to make it seem like all women just need to rule over men and we just have to follow and listen to every command that the woman says for us to do. It's not what it's saying. This is not for us saying that women need to obey and submit to the husband's every command and do everything that she's ordered to do by her husband. No. It's understanding that in this relationship, well, actually, I'm going to get into it. I said I wasn't going to get into it. I was going to do another video. I'm going to get into it now. That there's a balance. You know what I mean? That both the man and the woman have roles and spaces when they are to take the lead, and the other is to submit and follow. And that's how it works. It's got to be a balance. It's an ebb and flow, and that's with the universe. Okay? And the thing I was going to touch on in a different video, but I want to touch on it now, is also just the different, the way we even talk about relationships, husband and wife, your man and your lady, your boyfriend and girlfriend, you know, and I'm guilty of this myself, that oftentimes I'm just using the examples that I know of personally, or that come to mind closest for me because it's what I live. But what we have to be mindful is that this is to use this as a guide, and that in these days and time, there's different kinds of relationships, and we got to understand that there are gay Moorish brothers and sisters, gay Moorish brothers. There are lesbian Moorish sisters. We need to accept all of the people within the LBGTQ. I apologize if I didn't get all the letters, but you understand that entire movement, all of the Moorish people and European and otherwise people in that movement. We need to embrace those perspectives as well, and not just keep this like tunnel vision and only talk about more science from this perspective of man and wife, or just the traditional, or the quote unquote traditional, or quote unquote normal relationships, or ways of life. And something that's important, and this may offend people, some people, but you need to realize that you're not really woke. You're not as conscious as you believe yourself to be if you are still looking down on those that live their life differently than you. Whether they be gay, whether they be lesbian, whether they be transgender, whether they be, I'm forgetting all the different terms for all this, but I'm saying whatever lifestyle, if you trying to look down on them because it's not the quote unquote normal man and a wife, you gotta understand you still need some growing, and you still need some, you need to take some time and really open your mind, and more importantly, open your heart to understanding that we're all God's children. We're all Allah's children, Jah's children, the Most High, our Creator, is within all of us. Yes, all of us. And so I just kind of wanted to touch on that, because I realize when I speak on relationships, or when I mention things about wives and husbands, that I have subconsciously not, I haven't been doing a good enough job to make sure that I include everybody, and to make sure that we drive that point home. That this isn't some, this movement, this thing about us being Moors, about love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. This you can't discriminate. This is for all. This is for uplifting humanity. That's all of humanity. You feel me? I hope that message gets to the right people, the people that need to hear it, and the people that didn't want to hear it. I hope especially gets to y'all, because we need to open our hearts. We need to change. We need more love in this world. You know what I mean? I've been talking for way too long. I'll be trying to keep these short now, because I understand people's attention spans is whatever, but this was important. Much love. Keep shining. Keep being amazing. Keep spreading love. That's it. Peace. And shout out my homegirl Wit, and everybody else, Britt, and anybody else. Much love. Peace. Oh, see, Rami, now, bonus round. Now, see, Rami, I was with you until you start talking that LBGTQ. See, now you with you an agent, Rami. You an agent. That's probably what some of y'all are saying. But I'm going to just ask you this one question for you to think on. Are we the body? Are we within our bodies? Come on now, think about that. Are you right there, are you your body or are you within your body? Now, if you not your body, as it says in the Quran, that we not our body or our soul, but you ain't hear me on that. But as it says that, you got to understand, all of that man and a man, well, that's all a construct because we not actually our body. The woman, well, if we not actually our body, then that's really just a spirit or a soul connecting to another spirit or a soul. That's something for you to think about, all right? Much love. Spread love instead of hate. That's the way. That's the key. Peace.